Well, good morning and welcome to lesson 42. God is my strength and vision is his gift. I'll just read it through and then we'll have a bit of a chat. I had someone else tell me last night that they enjoy the little chats, which I don't know if that's really the object of the exercise. But anyway, if it's helpful, that, So, God is my strength, vision is his gift. The idea for today combines two very powerful thoughts, both of major importance. It also sets forth a cause and effect relationship, which explains why you cannot fail in your efforts to achieve the goal of the course, which is inner peace. You will see because it is the will of God. It is his strength, not your own, right? Get that, not your own strength, that gives you power. And it is his gift to you rather than your own, which offers vision to you. And that's easier to understand if you remember that my thoughts do not mean anything and that I've given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. It's like, well, let me try to just get out of my own way and let God, let go and let God. Which I think is an AA saying, maybe. God is indeed your strength. And what he gives is truly given. This means you can receive it at any time, anywhere, wherever you are and in whatever circumstances you find yourself. Your passage, this is great, your passage through time and space is not random. You cannot but be in the right place at the right time. Such is the strength of God, such are his gifts. We will have 2 3 to 5 minute long exercise periods today. One as soon as possible after you wake, and another as close as possible to the time you go to sleep. It is better, however, to wait until you can sit quietly by yourself at a time when you feel ready than it is to be concerned with the time as such. Begin the practice period by repeating the idea for today slowly with eyes open, looking about you. Then close your eyes and repeat the idea again quite slowly. After this, try to think of nothing except thoughts which occur to you in relation to today's idea. You might think, for example, vision must be possible, God gives truly, or God's gifts to me must be mine because he has given them to me, or he gave them to me. Whatever thought that is clearly related to the idea itself is suitable. You may, in fact, be astonished at the amount of course-related understanding some of your own thoughts contain. Let them come without censoring unless you realize your mind is merely wandering. You have let obviously irrelevant thoughts... Let them come without censoring unless you realize your mind is merely wandering and you have let obviously irrelevant thoughts intrude. You may also reach a point where no thoughts at all seem to come to mind. If such interferences occur, open your eyes and repeat the thought once more while looking about slowly. Close your eyes, repeat the idea once more, and then continue to look for related thoughts in your mind. Remember though that active searching is not appropriate for today's exercises. Try merely to step back and let the thoughts come. If you find this difficult, it is better to spend the practice period alternating between slow repetitions of the idea with eyes open, then closed, then open, and so on, than it is to strain in order to find suitable thoughts. There is no limit to the number of short practice periods which would be most beneficial. The idea for the day is a beginning step in bringing thoughts together and teaching you that what you are studying is a unified thought system in which nothing is lacking that is needed, and nothing is included that is contradictory or irrelevant. The more often you repeat the idea during the day, the more often you will be reminding yourself that the goal of the course is important to you and that you have not forgotten it. And one of the things I find very easy from my own reference which ensures that I don't forget it, is my past. And even though I'm no longer affected or disturbed or upset by my past, I do remember that it was terrible. I do remember that I didn't like it, that I wanted to kill myself, and I needed an alternative. And then this showed up. So, and that's a very familiar story and similar story to almost everybody I meet in relationship to this course. My life was on a collision course with disaster or was disastrous, and then the Course of Miracles showed up because I asked for help. So referencing the ideas that God is my strength, vision is his gift, whatever you can find, Christ's vision is mine because God gave it to me, etc. And the thing that you're always doing with these lessons is bringing your mind back, right, from wandering off over here about today, the kids, my job, whatever, mortgage, bloody puppy, new puppy, wherever it is, somewhere, and bringing my mind back to God's vision. So, and resting in that, right, but allowing myself to get out of the way, allowing those thoughts to come, right? So it's really one of the first lessons. I mean, all these first 50 lessons are firsts in some regard, and this one is one of the first lessons that, maybe not the first, but it points more specifically to an altruistic perspective of things where everything is all true. And I love the idea that you're never in the wrong place at the wrong time, that everything that's happening is meant to be happening for you for learning purposes. Otherwise, why else are you on the earth? And the delay that we often take, or the ignorance, let's say, that we have in our human experience, because we're born into the world in the appearance of being born into the world with amnesia, not knowing why, what, who, where, how, any of those things. It tends to cloud over everything and make therefore nothing particularly important, right? And having that altruistic vision restored, where everyone and everything is therefore useful, everyone and everything is therefore important, everyone and everything is an opportunity to choose again, and also to be happy, to find joy. It's like allowing through that vision to see beyond the nature of the illusion, beyond the form entirely, to just the presence of love, right, to true spirit. And when I say love, I know that conjures up a lot of sort of references for love and yes, there is that, but it's not that. It's more than that. It's mind-blowingly more than that. So, all right, well, God is my strength, vision is his gift. God's gifts to me must be mine because he gave them to me. All right, so lesson 43 tomorrow. God is my source, I cannot see apart from him. And all these lessons from now on bring us to that point of inclusion, that point of beingness and oneness, and that altruistic sort of perspective of the world and ourselves in it. I'm the dreamer of the dream. And fun little exercise you can do today if you get time and if you remember, is wherever you go today, if you're driving your car and or at work, or just have some time to yourself, just tell yourself, I'm the dreamer of this dream. I'm the dreamer of the dream. I'm the central figure in my dream, and everyone else is just these things that I've manifested and made, populated my world with. And very quick little story to that. I did a meditation many years ago in New South Wales in Australia with a group of people that I was having a very awesome time with at the time in a study group. And after the meditation, I went for a walk up the beach, and it was still quite early in the morning. Or was it before the meditation? But anyway, it was quite early. It must have been before. It was very early in the morning. And I lived on this particular beach, and there would always be joggers and people walking and everything up and down the beach. And I remember having this thought in my head, I thought, wow, that's odd. There's usually people jogging, and there was no one. There was no one for, like, as far as the eye could see. And then about 100 metres in front of me, a jogger wearing a red T-shirt, shorts, and shoes just boop, appeared. He didn't run down from the dunes. He wasn't there before. I was walking. I hadn't taken my eyes off the beach ahead. I was just walking to my destination, and just appeared, and he jogged past me, and I was flabbergasted. I'd been doing these lessons, and I knew that I was the populator of my world with dream images. And I stood there almost slack-jawed, and I watched this guy, and he ran straight past me and back into town. And I had the thought in my head, wow, if I stopped that guy and asked him about his life, he would have had a whole story about his wife, perhaps kids, job, whatever he did, blah, 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 blah. But literally, I just made him up, you know. And that's what we do. We manifest things. And I remember in the early days of PlayStation and Xbox, when you had the very clunky sort of pixelated games, if you had, for example, one of those driving games, car driving games, quite often you'd be driving along the road and you would see the buildings like popping up and you know, coming to life. They weren't there. They were just sort of, you know, because the computing power was too slow or something, I think, in the early days. And you could actually see the surrounds in the background appear. And it's very much like that, but we take it for granted. Our minds won't let us see the manufacturing of the world. We are collaboratively embroiled in this, what we consider to be pre-existing, but literally we make it up every moment. Right? Our minds, not this little thinking compartment that relates to it, but our minds, like in the overall bigger picture, as one mind, is a very powerful kind of, if you want to liken it to a computer, you can. So we're using the mind of God to manifest a alternate reality. It is quite bizarre. Takes a lot to get used to, and you will never believe it until you experience it and see it for yourself from the outside looking in, not from within it like this. And the vision of Christ will help you to do that. And revelation, total revelation, union with God will be the ultimate proof in the pudding, and awaken the memory of what you are within yourself and show you where you truly are in eternity, and you'll be more than flabbergasted. You'll be irreversibly flabbergasted. All right, I love you. Take it easy, and this is a path to enlightenment.